What's up, guys? It's Stefon Whitaker back with another special episode of Stefon's Vlogs. Today's episode is pretty similar to the last episode that I showed you guys, talking about the wonderful Canon M50 here, my new vlogging camera. This episode we're talking specifically about my time with the rental that I just had, the wonderful and amazing Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. First off, let me tell you, I loved using this camera, and I love this camera, to say the least. It is an amazing camera, and I cannot wait to talk about it. I actually just got done filming the music video that I used it for, the band Cheyenne butt dial music video. Just got done with production to that in real time yesterday. Today is actually the last day I have all of the rental stuff. So I wanted to go ahead and do kind of a quick overview of what using this camera was like and kind of show you guys some of the footage that I have with this camera. First off, I just want to talk to you guys about just the logistics. This is not a review in any case. This is just an overview of how it was actually using this camera on set. What I have on here right now is the Rokinon Cine lens 35mm. This was like the perfect lens to pair this camera up with. And let me tell you, the footage here is insane, man. It looks so beautiful. So much great footage, as you guys can see here. There's a lot of amazing footage. I honestly loved using it with this lens the most out of all the lenses that I had. I definitely used the 16mm Rokinon a little bit, along with the 50mm. I used it for a couple shots, but the 35mm is what I actually rented it with the EF to micro four thirds. Just amazing. I love it so much, and I definitely want to buy this lens too, along with this camera for sure. What was it like using this camera on an actual production, an actual setting where I'm going to be using it kind of in real time? I don't have too many complaints to make about this camera, honestly. I will talk about the cons first, just to get those out of the way. As far as the cons, I know a lot of people have talked about the battery being pretty bad in this camera, and that is probably one of the worst things about it. I've heard that plenty of times. It takes Canon LPE6 batteries, which, you know, are used in a lot of DSLRs and stuff like that. Yeah, shooting 4K 60 frames per second definitely drained it a lot. Shooting 4K Cinema DNG RAW, which I did not use Cinema DNG RAW for this production. I shot ProRes 422, but that still drained the battery bit by bit. And man, the batteries definitely suck. The first day of shooting on the production, it was like a 6-hour day, and it didn't really drain batteries too much. I had to switch maybe twice, 3 times at most. But for the second day, which was an entire 12-hour shoot, I had 3 batteries really to my belonging actually using with the camera, and I had a monitor too, a small HD monitor that also used a Canon LPE6 battery. So I had at least like 7 or 8 batteries with me to use for this camera, which was good and all, but still it was kind of just a pain in the ass having to switch every single time. And there was only one time on set actually where the camera died on me like mid-take. That kind of sucked because it was kind of in a pinch. I was kind of in a time crunch there, and just kind of died on me without warning too. Yeah, that kind of sucked for sure. I hate the body shape of a DSLR kind of style camera. I don't necessarily like that as much. I kind of wish it had more of a body like, you know, a Red or something. But of course, this is Blackmagic's, one of their lower price cameras. So, and it's the pocket camera, which you can't really fit it in your pocket, but it is definitely bigger than my T5i and way bigger than the Canon M50. It is definitely the biggest of the 3 that I have in my possession at the moment. But it does feel pretty good in the hands. I just kind of hate the way it's shaped. That's my biggest thing. That is, I guess, weird about holding it. It's definitely not as intuitive. And one of the biggest cons, this is probably my biggest con of the camera, besides the battery, is no articulating screen. There's a big ass screen here on the camera, a very big screen, but when I'm getting certain shots, you know, I can't necessarily look up. I gotta move my body in ways, and that kind of sucks. Honestly, when I actually purchase this camera for myself, I'm gonna have to get some kind of monitor to help get the angles, to see the angles of different shots that I'm getting. Having no articulating screen is probably my biggest con. I had to deal with that a lot on set. because I didn't really want to set up the monitor that I had to rent with it, just because that was going to add so much more weight to it. So definitely not having articulating screen is probably my biggest con with this camera. As far as pros, I mean, there's a million pros that I could give about this camera. This camera is amazing. The 4K here is beautiful. I mean, it looks amazing straight out the box, honestly. I shot 4K ProRes 422, and that footage looks incredible. All the footage you are seeing right now is 4K ProRes 422. I did shoot on RAW a couple times, but working with Cinema DNG RAW is a pain in the ass. And I actually did not shoot really much at all, even real test footage of Cinema DNG RAW, mainly just because I did not want to mess with it. And also, too, I haven't necessarily messed with Cinema DNG RAW the most, so I kind of just backed off from that for now. So everything is in ProRes 422 as far as the clips you guys are seeing at the moment right now. Another great thing about this camera that I loved, as far as just hardware-wise, is just the button layout and the menu system. It is very easy to use the menu system in this camera. Like, it is just super fast, super intuitive. There's a couple times where I may have gotten lost trying to figure out certain things, like why some of the status text was gone. I had to kind of remind myself, oh wait, okay, that's in the monitor setup and everything. And I had to kind of work with the audio a bit, kind of working with the gain and everything as well. I had to kind of figure out how that was going to work sometimes. But the menu system is very easy. The button layout is great as well. All of the buttons are amazing. I mean, you have all the ISO, your shutter and aperture, white balance. You can take a screen grab if you want. You can button layout all these different buttons up top here. And I love the high frame rate button. Just easily jumping straight into 4K 60 frames per second was incredible, and I loved it so much, honestly. I used that a lot too when I was working, and just hopping in from going into quick frames was great. And straight out the box, I mean, there's not much I can really say bad about this camera. This camera is awesome. Oh man, I mean, this is an awesome camera, and I definitely can't wait to buy this camera for myself. I'm definitely going to buy it, and I'm going to have to buy this 35mm Rokinon lens as well, just so I can use it with this camera, because this is great. And I'm definitely going to get the tilted cage or some kind of cage as well for it. Once I buy this camera, you guys will know, because I will start posting about it. I will definitely post about it on the vlog. You'll see it all across SW Films. And when the Band Cheyenne music video is done, you guys will see the quality of that. And of course, you guys are looking at the quality now, but yeah, I fucking love this camera so much. How I would compare it to all of my other cameras, it's definitely a huge step up, for sure. Definitely a big step up, 100% as far as quality. I mean, you're looking at ProRes 422 footage, 13 stops of dynamic range, with, of course, all these different lenses on it, and it definitely shows to be a lot better than both the T5i and the M50. It is just an incredible camera for what it is. I would never use this camera to vlog with. I mean, ever. Honestly, never I would shoot with this camera to vlog, since it has no articulating screen, and just having a monitor on it in the first place would just have it be a heavy setup, and I would never just vlog with it. This camera is going to be used strictly for production work. If I ever used it in my vlogs, it would probably be just for an introduction of something, or just maybe giving some kind of cool promo. I mean, I would be creative with it. I would maybe use it on my vlogs in a certain part, but I'm mainly using this thing for production work on SW Films. You're not going to see this too much worked with Stefon's vlog stuff. It just doesn't make sense, for me at least. You know what I'm saying? I want to show you guys the comparison with this camera and just some of the different lenses as well, just on how well it works. Okay, what you guys are seeing now is on the T5i with the 18-135 lens. I'm kind of zoomed in a bit just so I can have a proper frame. I've shot on the T5i plenty of times. I mean, once I actually give the rental back tomorrow, the T5i is basically going to be back to you being my production camera. Of course, I have the M50, which is the vlog camera, and once I actually get the Viltrox lens adapter to use my lenses with this camera, then I'll actually start using it for some production work. But this is mainly the vlog camera right now. So what you're looking at now is the T5i with the 16mm Rokinon lens that I always use for my productions. And you know, obviously a little bit of a difference. I think I'm at 2.8 aperture right now, and I'm at 1600 ISO. Let me change the ISO here. Awesome. So as you guys see here, this is the Canon with the 16mm Rokinon. I use this all the time, and honestly, having a cine lens like this on a T5i makes a huge difference. Only thing is, of course, you know, when I'm doing vlogging setups, I cannot tell if I'm in focus. So right now I don't have a monitor that is showing me what I'm actually looking at the moment. So I could be out of focus here. If I am a little out of focus, I'm sorry. I'm just giving you guys a proper kind of comparison of these cameras that I use. Alright, so now this is the Canon M50. This is shooting at 1080p at 24 frames per second. This is of course the new camera that I have, the vlogging camera. Right now, as you guys are watching this, I actually haven't used the M50 a whole bunch. I have probably used I've actually used the Pocket 4K probably a little bit more. The biggest pro here obviously is that it's small, it's very usable, it's great. The autofocus is amazing. Even the manual focus is great, especially because focus peaking is a part of this camera, which I love. Definitely the Canon M50 has an edge over the T5i, I think. Even in 1080 at 24 frames per second, it looks a little bit better. Besides just the crop, right now my focal length on this camera is like 24mm, and with that 1.6 crop, which makes it about 38.4mm, close to 40mm, which kind of is ridiculous with the crop, but honestly, not too bad. There's a lot to love about this camera, and I think it definitely would be good for both productions and obviously the vlog. Now here is the 4K on the Canon M50. Now one of the biggest things that I kind of had talked about a little bit with the Canon M50, at least from what I've seen in reviews and what I've kind of tested myself, is that crazy autofocus that is in the 1080 is not necessarily too great in the M50 when it comes to 4K shooting. Which, you know, honestly to me, as much as I've heard that, was kind of not much of an issue, just because I've always shot manually. I've never really filmed in autofocus. So honestly I didn't think that was too much of an issue, but if I was ever going to vlog in 4K, the autofocus would not be all that good. As you guys can see here, it does take a little bit of time to do some autofocusing. I honestly can't really see the screen from here, so it could be great autofocus, but I kind of expect it to be a little shifty here and there. But of course, it is no match for our next contender, which of course is the Pocket 4K. Alright, and then this right here is the Pocket 4K cinema camera. Like I said before, this does not have a articulating screen. All it is right now is me on the actual monitor that I rented with the camera. As you guys can see right here, this is kind of the whole setup that I have going on here. I would never vlog with this camera, like I had mentioned before, just because the fact with the articulating screen, but it looks amazing. The lighting is of course a little balanced and managed right here. It looks the best out of every single one of the cameras. I mean, this is complete 4K, ProRes 422 at 24 frames per second. Man, it's just amazing. Of course, I do not have the mic on there. Right now I'm actually using the mic from the Canon T5i on the Rode mic there just to record my audio here. Simply because I don't have any kind of cage or anything else to actually set up the Rode mic onto here, and I've never actually gotten the chance to use the Rode mic on the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. I know it has a mini XLR port on the side of the camera, so you can plug straight into there to record audio if you have a boom mic or whatever else. So it definitely is usable and is possible, and there is a mic port too to use the Rode microphone or any kind of microphone that, you know, can fit inside the headphone and the mic jack there. So that's basically it, guys. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of footage from the camera and how amazing it is. Honestly, I had a great experience shooting with it on TBC's music video. I cannot wait to actually sit down and edit all of that footage. It's definitely going to be a little bit of a pain since all of it is in 4K. The entire folder of everything that I'm gonna have to use in the edit is almost at 500 gigabytes, which is you know, it was expected honestly, but I cannot wait to edit all the footage. Everything with the camera looks amazing, kind of straight out the gate, with the right lighting especially, and just with the adaptation of lenses. Man, it just looks incredible, and I love it. I am definitely going to buy this camera, 100% going to buy this camera, just because I love everything about it. I really do. Besides like the batteries and the articulating screen and kind of the form factor of the camera itself, makes it a little awkward to hold, but other than that, those are things I think I can actually solve. There is ways to resolve the battery issue. There's ways to I can get a cage and actually build off onto the Blackmagic to actually make it a little bit more of a more better form factor for me. I kind of like heavier cameras in a way. It's something where I can rig a bunch of different things to it, you know, and that's kind of the plan there. Getting a different monitor, actually getting a monitor for it and all of that, and of course getting the lens adapter. I'm definitely gonna buy this camera. It will be a production camera for sure. I know NAB comes up in April. If for some reason I don't get this camera in April and there's a new camera on the rise that might be even better than the Pocket 4K that comes out even sooner or even later, then we'll decide. But I think this camera is what I'm gonna buy right off the bat. I mean, $1,300 for the body alone plus DaVinci Resolve is an amazing price. I definitely want to take advantage of that. So I want to just thank all of you guys once again for kind of tuning in into these new style of vlogs. The vlogs are definitely going to change up a lot more, like I have been saying. And like I said, man, I thank you guys so much for sticking around and being a part of it. Make sure you're tuned into SW Films. There's going to be tons of different projects coming, especially TBC's music video that was filmed completely on the Pocket 4K. I definitely want you guys to check that out. So be subscribed to SW Films if you're not already. Subscribe to SW Films and follow SW Films on both Facebook and Instagram to check out some of the cool BTS that we shot from that project. And of course, guys, like, comment, share this video, and subscribe to Stefon's vlogs. All of that stuff helps me out. All of it helps me get you guys invested and show you guys some cool projects, give you guys valuable information, and of course give you a taste of what my life is like with all of these cameras and lights and all that great stuff. Be tuned in for the next couple episodes. We got some cool stuff coming, all right? And as you guys know, every vision is made with cinematic excellence when it comes to SW Films. So I will see you guys soon, all right? Thank you so much.
Figure out at any moment your memories can be scratched out. That's what I rap about. I see some enemies, that's what that badge bout. But this the last drought, yeah.